Do you struggle with the follow-up on your sphere of influence and past clients? Well, in this video, we're going to automate that for you. Let's get into it. What is going on? My name is Andrew, or of course you can call me Mongo. I run a small real estate team out in the beautiful state of Florida. And this channel is intended to kind of help anybody out there that's watching, whether you're brand new, whether you're experienced, to, help you with your business a little bit and teach you a little bit of what I've learned. If this is your first time to my channel, well, welcome. I really appreciate you joining. If you are a returning subscriber, I also really appreciate you. For those of you that are new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell if you'd like a little bit of extra help with your real estate business to help automate it and, make a little bit more money and have a better work-life balance. And of course, if you ever want to reach me, I've got all of my contact information. I'll throw it up here on the screen. I'll also throw it at the end of the video so you guys can reach out to me with any questions you have. I'd love to help. And of course, you can always comment down below. Let's face it, a ton of us in the real estate business are not super great at automating systems. And that just happens to be something that is a little bit of a specialty of mine. So in this video today, we're going to be going over one of the systems that I have automated with our sphere of influence and our past clients. Basically anybody that we know so that we contact them regularly. This is a very, very, very simple system. This is not complicated. You're not going to have to add Zapiers and codes, and all of this is the most basic we can possibly do. And I guarantee it will change your business forever if you execute. You can't just watch this and then not do anything about it. You are going to have to execute on the things that I'm going to give you to do.
Do it! Just do it!
To make it easier for you, if you look down in the description, I will have a checklist for you that goes over some of the things that I'm going to talk about here. And then, of course, I'm going to give you some information in the video to make sure that you're, getting it, if you will. We all know how important it is to stay in touch with our sphere of influence and our past clients, but a lot of us don't know how important it is. So I'm going to start by running a little bit of math. Bear with me here, but it's going to be a little bit of an eye-opener for a lot of you guys, because if you know 100 people in your area and you're not at least getting this many sales, then you'll know that obviously you need to step up your game. So for every 100 people that you have, you should get a bare minimum of 8 sales. These are people that already know, like, and trust you. There's no reason they should be going anywhere else unless you are brand new or for some reason they do not trust your work. But we'll fix that in other videos. This is going to put all of your sphere of influence contacts in place so that you don't have to worry about that portion. And then once you get everything else going and get some social proof going and then they're trusting you, your sales should go up. But at a bare minimum, for every 100 people you have, you should have 8 sales. If they buy and sell every 12 years, that means for every 100 people 8.3 of them will be moving. Now, that's not the only part of the equation here. There are also referrals. The average person is going to know approximately 7 people that are going to be buying or selling a home per year. Now, if they don't get to them until a little bit later, there's not much you can do. So you can't really expect to get all 7 of those for every single person you get. But depending on which person you listen to or which study you're looking at, you should get anywhere from about 3 to about 7 sales that are referrals from your sphere of influence of their friends and family. So that should give us a bare minimum of 11 sales so far, all the way upwards of about 15. Oh, but hold on, there's still more. You still have buy-sell combos, so you should be able to get 2 transactions on those, and that should be anywhere from about 2 to about 5 sales depending on who you listen to. So at the bare minimum, you should be getting about 13 or 14 sales, all the way upwards of about 22 sales, and even higher than that. I can kind of show you my numbers and how that kind of works, but I'll probably save that for another video. I do get much higher than this, and I think if you execute on everything I'm going to talk about today, you should be able to get at least that bare minimum just by contacts alone and building relationships. So the entire goal is to get 300 in this category where you are contacting them regularly, because that's going to put you at a bare minimum of 42 sales all the way upwards of 50 plus. And depending on where you are at in the country and what your average price point is, that should be a pretty penny. In fact, for most of you, that should exceed $300,000 in income every single year, just from the people that already know, like, and trust you. I can't emphasize that enough. These are very easy calls. Now, when you're looking at this and you've probably seen other videos and you're going, okay, well, what is this, 50 calls a day? Do I have to do 50 calls? Nope. It's just 5. That's what the math equates out to if you're contacting them once every 3 months. And then you will have some more contacts for birthdays, anniversaries, purchase anniversaries, and client events and things like that. But we'll go over all of that in another video. We just want to lay the base work, the groundwork in this video. So when we look at the actual math of how many people you're going to have to contact, assuming you're going to work 44 months out of the year, you can take that 300 divided by 44, and you're going to get about 5 contacts per day. That's it, 5 contacts per working day. This means taking like 2 full months off. You notice I said 44 months, not 48. There are 52 months in a year. That's taking 2 full months off. That's all your holidays, your weekends, all of that just completely off, and also taking a pretty big vacation or lots of downtime. So this is very doable for most people. I understand that there will be some people watching this that are, maybe you're a single mom and you've got kids to worry about and you can only work like 4 hours a day. That's perfectly fine. You can implement this. I've literally watched it time and time again. I've taken an agent from a 16-year veteran of 30 sales per year all the way up to about 55 sales per year just by implementing this, because it was helping out their sphere of influence. I've taken a brand new agent and got them all the way up to 34 sales in their very first year just by this system. I've even taken somebody that didn't know anybody, added them to some social hacking, and then got them a ton of sales, and they're continuing this in perpetuity. So this strategy works. It's very simple. It's just relationship building 101. That's it. So here's what we do. You're going to go into your CRM system. If you're not using a CRM system, you probably should be, but I guess you could probably get away with like an old school Rolodex or maybe even an Excel spreadsheet. What I want you to do is do some sort of memory jogger. I want you to go through every person in your phone. There are apps out there that will put all of your contacts in your phone into a CSV file, and you can upload it right into your CRM system. Then I'm going to want you to go through all of your Facebook contacts and put all of those in there, or at least the ones that you plan on contacting. Now I know you're going to be looking at this video and going, hey Mongo, what about the people that I don't have contact information for? Doesn't matter, guys, okay? You can put in a fake phone number if your CRM requires a phone number or an email. You don't need any other contact information because you have them on Facebook. You can contact them through Facebook. All you need for this strategy is one means of communication: an email, a phone number, preferably a phone number so that you can text and call them, or some sort of social media account. Now, yes, you can do this to everybody in your social media. What I want you to do is look at each individual person and be very objective with yourself. Say, if I'm busy or I'm having a rough day and I'm not really feeling like making my contacts today, is this somebody I'm going to message? And if that answer is no, then I want you to either put them to the side or we're going to put them into a different bucket that I'll talk about here in a moment. From there, once you have a hefty list, I want you to go through and we're going to categorize them in one of 4 categories. You're going to label these SOI-A, SOI-B, SOI-C, and SOI-D. If it's easier for you to just put A clients, B clients, C clients, D clients, you can do that, or any variation of that. Just name it something that you're going to know exactly what it is as soon as it pops up in your checklist in your CRM system. So let's talk about what each one of these are before we move into the CRM portion and how to build it all out, and then what you're going to do from there. So your sphere of influence A category, when you're going through your list of people, I want you to write an A next to every single person that is a big, big cheerleader. I also want you to put your very close friends and family in here. I'm talking like extremely close, people you hang out with once a week, and then your family members. The reason why we put your family in there, you're probably contacting them pretty regularly anyway, but if for some reason you are not, we want to make sure that they're on a steady system. Now, if they don't live in your area, you can kind of choose there. I personally put them all in there because I wasn't contacting my family. I was really busy. I've sold a little over 900 homes in my career, so I get a little bit busy and then I forget to contact my family. So that's why I put it in there. I have since deleted them out of there because we have a different form of communication that keeps it pretty steady now. So make that judgment call for yourself. So now that you have all of your cheerleaders, these are people that send you like 2 referrals a year at least. If it's maybe 1, you might be able to throw them in the sphere of influence A category, but it might be too much contacting. So you're going to have to use a judgment call. What we're going to do with this is all of these people that are on your sphere of influence A category are going to get contacted 1 time per month. Okay, so that's going to be kind of the cadence there. Now to the second category, that's your SOI-B. B stands for bulk. The bulk of your people should go in here. Almost everybody you know should go into this category, with a few exceptions for the C and D categories that I'll talk about here in a second. Now, what we're going to be doing with these people is we're going to contact them every 3 months. This is going to be the bulk of your business. This is going to be the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle, if you will. 80% of your business will come from this little category here, and then 20% from the other 3. So if you did nothing else, if you don't listen to anything else in this video, create a campaign for every 3 months and throw all of your people in it. You can stop this video right now, but don't, because there's still a little bit more that you really want to listen to. Then we've got our Sphere of Influence C campaign. This is kind of the people that you're like, once every 3 months seems too much. Maybe it's a past client that it didn't go as well as you'd like, or they're just a little bit of a homebody or more of an introvert, and you think that contacting them once every 3 months is going to be too much. I don't want you to get too happy in this sector, because the more people that are in your C and lower, C and D categories, the less you are going to get. So if you want to get those 14 to 22 sales that I talked about before, 13 to 22, whatever the math was, you're going to need to have them in your A or B categories, preferably your B for most of them. You don't want to hit people too many times because it's going to scare them off. It's going to be a little bit creepy, unless, of course, the relationship calls for that. Once you get down all of your people in the C category, make sure it's not too many of them. A lot of people, sometimes they'll throw too many in the C because they're like, I don't really know about this person. You're going to be building a relationship. So once every 3 months isn't going to be that cosmic. Think about a friend of yours. If you only contacted them once every 3 months, they would think you're a little bit like, aloof, or you're too busy for them or whatever. You're going to have to keep that in mind with your Sphere of Influence C people. Now, the Sphere of Influence C people will get contacted once every 6 months. And that's why you don't want to have as many in there, because once every 6 months is easy enough for them to forget you. Now, the last category is going to be your Sphere of Influence D category. Now, D can stand for delete, or you can just keep them on the back burner or contact them once per year. I'm going to give that judgment call to you. What I suggest is you put them on a once per year contact, because a lot of the people that we throw in the D category, we think don't like us. We think they had a bad experience if they were a past client. But the reason why I do it and I actually contact them once per year is because I had a lady who I thought the deal went bad. The other real estate agent on the other side hid some stuff that didn't get caught, and it was just not a super great experience for her. And then after she moved in, she found even more stuff that they were hiding. Nothing that I could have done. We got the home inspection. It was missed there too. It was just a bad set of situations. It wasn't super bad, but it was costly enough that I thought she disliked me. So I didn't contact her. And about 2 years later, she popped up in my CRM. And I said, you know what? I'm going to call her. I'm just going to bite the bullet and just see how she's doing. And she lit up. She was so excited. Oh, Andrew, you got to come to the house. It's amazing. Da, 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 da. And then I contacted her again. I moved her to the C category, which we'll talk about maneuvering people into different categories right after this. I moved her into the C categories, and 6 months later, I called her again. Again, she lit up, so excited. And then she said, hey, my son's moving here. Can you please help him? So I got a referral from somebody that I didn't think ever wanted to talk to me again. So your Sphere of Influence D people will be once per year, or of course, just delete them. I suggest you put them in your CRM just in case. You never know when you're going to change your mind and go, hey, why not? Let's see what this looks like if I do call some of my D clients. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you've also gone through your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, and any other avenue that you have contacts in to make sure that you're getting everybody into your CRM. And again, as I mentioned before, don't worry if you don't have all their contact information. If you have any avenue to reach out to them in any capacity, then it's a smart move to put them in and put them on rotation. And you can always ask for that contact information later if you prefer a certain way to contact them versus others. What I personally do is whenever these come up in my tasks, I write a little note on how I think they like to communicate. How do they communicate best with me? If I texted them and they did not text back, they might not be text people. They might be social media contacts, or maybe it needs to be a phone call. Maybe it needs to be emails, even though I really don't like considering it. If you're just emailing everybody, not a super great solution. Email marketing is a whole different thing. Email campaigns are a whole different thing. They're a good supplement. They're even a whole separate plan, but you need to actually build the relationship. So when these come up, there's multiple ways you can do this, okay? The script is very simple. If you're calling them, you pick up the phone and you say, hey, so-and-so, it's Andrew. How are you doing? It's just that simple, guys. All these scripts and everything else that you guys have heard, they're great. They're good to get started, but you don't need to do it. And I know a lot of brokerages teach that on every phone call you should ask, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Or sorry, they changed that to who do you know that buys, sells, or invests in real estate, because it sounds better. The problem with this is it's just a tactic to get you going, okay? So if you're, already kind of past that and you're like, hey, listen, I'm going to do the work. It's fine. You don't need these little scripts. You can do them if you want, but you're not going to see, at least in my experience, you're not going to see an increase in business by asking that question versus just building the relationship. Most people on that kind of like soft touch of just building the relationship, just asking how they are, just seeing how their kids are, just seeing how their husband is, wife is, whatever, that alone is going to build a relationship strong enough that whenever their friends and family go to think about somebody buying or selling, they're going to contact you. You can add that little bit in, hey, do you know anybody, or who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? I just felt like it felt a little bit salesy to me. When I stopped doing it, my sphere of influence sales grew considerably. But, maybe the other strategy works good for you. It's really just kind of dependent on what you like, and experiment with both and see how it goes. Now, of course, you can always call them and have like a competition going on in your office. Maybe you guys are trying to get more listings or something like that. It's not that unusual to call them and be like, hey, I'm in a competition. Do you know anybody looking, or who do you know looking to sell their home? I really, want to win this thing. You can definitely do that. That is a tactic, but the main point is just to build the relationship. If you're about to reach out to them and you're not sure what to say, here's a really good method to do. When we're doing what I call my Facebook 5x5, which I will do another video on. If I've already shot it, we'll put it up in the annotations right here. But we're going through our Facebook and we're just checking out people's lives that are in our lives. And then we're going to take something that they did and that you would normally comment on, and you're just going to reach out to them personally for that. Whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's a text message or a phone call, it really doesn't matter. Use their preferred method, but take something that you saw and take it offline. Now, I do want to make one quick note. When you are adding these people into your sphere of influence A, B, C, and D campaigns, don't do the entire list all on one day. Most CRMs are going to give you all of that stuff all on that day. So if you put 35 people in your sphere of influence A right away, then in 30 days, you're going to get 35 hits in one day that you're going to be freaking out. So what I tell my agents to do whenever they're coming on board is I say take 5 in each category, no more than 5. You can do 2, you can do 3, you can do 1, it doesn't matter. But do no more than 5 in each category into your CRM, and preferably no more than 5 in a day at all. This way you can spread them all out. And then every time you meet somebody new, you put them into your system and then you add them to one of those categories. Every single person that you get contact information from should go in there if you want to contact them forever. For instance, let's say you go out and you meet somebody, maybe a neighbor, a couple of doors down, you guys get to talk and you exchange information. That person should go in there into your sphere of influence B. Sure, you might see them around your neighborhood and things like that, but you still need to make personal touches and go out of your way to touch them. That's how you build your sphere of influence. And once you get to 300, you can basically coast for the rest of your life, doing 5 contacts per day or less, and live like a king or a queen. Now that you've got them all in and you're starting to get to thinking about contacting them, now we need to start building the relationships further. Here is your goal from this point forward. I want you to take all of your D clients and try to move them into a C category through relationship building. And your C's go into your B's and try to get some of your B's into your A's. And you do this just by contacting them regularly. So if you're contacting them every 3 months because they're on your sphere of influence B campaign, actually, let's go back to the once every 6 months. You're doing a sphere of influence C person. It's somebody that, not a really strong relationship. You do 2 phone calls or so, and they happen to mention like, hey, we should grab beer sometime and talk about that one thing that we're talking about, our kids or stock funds or whatever, right? And then you actually set that up. Once you get in person with them, move them down to your sphere of influence B category, or even do it before the meeting. If you guys are talking about meeting up, book an appointment, go have coffee with them, go have a beer or lunch or whatever. Talk about the thing that you guys have been chatting about, and then move them down in the sphere of influence B category. And that's how you then get another person into the B. And the entire goal, if you want to gamify it, for people that like to gamify things, I'm one of those people, you want to get 300 people into your sphere of influence B, and it's going to take you a long time for most people unless you're living in the area for a very long time and you're very diligent about this. It will take a long time because some of these people are going to leave, right? They're going to sell and go to another area, and maybe you don't want to contact them as much, although you still do want to contact them. A lot of people, when they move away, instantly take them out. keep them on for at least a year. They still know people down here, okay? So you still want to try to get some of that referral stuff, unless you're already at 300 and you're tapped out and you're like, you know what, I'm busy enough. Then go ahead and remove them, because they're the lowest chance of getting the most sales from, because they won't be buying or selling. So this is very important that you're always adding into your database. This is why every brokerage that you go into, or every good team leader, is going to tell you need to always be adding to your sphere of influence, or to your database in general. And you need to be adding to the sphere of influence categories as well. Again, because people are going to move out, so you need to replace them. You need to be contacting people. So some of the other strategies that we talk about on this channel can be used for that, but this is just a blanket strategy just for your sphere of influence. I'm not going to go into those in this video. Even if you don't think you have a big sphere of influence wherever you're at, I'm telling you the strategy is just setting a baseline, if nothing else. Like literally, if you moved to a new area and didn't know anybody, you should know somebody, your landlord, your, house that you purchased, the realtor from that, something. And I know you don't really want to contact a realtor if that's the case, but you get my point. You should have somebody. And even if you were handpicked out, at least you're setting the baseline so that you can build a predictable pipeline of business for the rest of your life. And I'll tell you what, I've actually taken people, as I mentioned before. In fact, I hand-plucked one of my buddies out of another state, moved them here, and in his first full year of real estate, he did 33 deals, and this was one of the strategies we used. Now, with him, because he didn't have a big sphere of influence, most of his came from open houses, a little bit of cold calling, and a little bit of kind of a lot of things, but he was constantly putting people into his sphere of influence, right? And then now, so many years later, he is still doing that, and his business is growing and growing and growing and growing year after year after year. So this is the first thing that I have agents do once they onboard with us. Well, technically the first thing they do, we call it a hell week, where they contact a whole bunch of people, but they're contacting right out of the system. And then when they're done, we put them all into the system and then put them on a regular cadence. And if done properly, it is very predictable how much they should be getting from their sphere of influence sales. In fact, when we're looking at it, it's very easy. It's like, okay, cool, you have 115 people. We can divide that by how many sales you should get on the minimum end, and this is what it should look like in your first year. When you start building it up further and further, it'll get higher and higher. Just to put this into perspective, when I was full-time in sales, right now I'm kind of almost out. In fact, I'm trying to completely push out, so I only did 24 deals personally last year. But before that, I did 64, and I've had years that are, basically hovering between 50 and 65. And that was from 178 sphere of influence B or better. 178, that's the kind of production that I was doing. Now, I was adding in some extra things like one-on-one meetings and client events. We generally do anywhere from 3 to 6 client events per year. We tried 6 last year. We're going back down to like 3 or 4, but it's adding those little things in and adding some more one-on-one touches to take it to the next level. So if that's what you want to do, there is a great book out there called 7L by, I think it's Michael Mayer. I may be butchering his name. Great book. If you just put that book into strategy, it's going to take what I'm telling you guys to do and take it even to a deeper level. He does a lot of one-on-one meetings, and then he stacks them, right? So he does a lunch meeting, and I did this. It was extremely effective. The year that I got the most sales personally, not to include my team, was the year that I did this, and I did it off 4 hours per day. In fact, if you ask my team members that were on the team back then, I was literally coming in from 9. I was a team leader. I was doing everything that I needed to do, taking lunch at 12, and then being out of the office by 1 or 2 p.m., and then golfing every single day by myself. I wasn't even using it as a tactic to get more people. I was literally just doing this strategy, and I did it to prove a point that this system works that freaking well. And that was with me running a team, still only working a few hours per day. So if that's the kind of lifestyle that you want, or if you want to really take it to the next level and you want to be a rock star and you want to work 10-hour days but get 150 sales or build a team or what have you, you can definitely do that, okay? This is just going to shorten that time, and it's going to make your efforts a lot more dedicated, right? Because you make 5 phone calls per day with your sphere of influence and make this kind of these kind of sales versus 5 cold calls a day, and you'll probably sell 1 home maybe. And even that's kind of stretching it, because that would only be it wouldn't be enough context. So my point with this is a very strong strategy to put in perpetuity, put in your business, and set it and forget it. You never have to think about it again. Just follow your checklist in your CRM. So if you found this helpful, if you've made it this far and you didn't hit that subscribe button, you should, right? Because this is the kind of videos that you're going to keep seeing from me. So hit that subscribe button and then tickle that little bell at the bottom, and then that's going to notify you every single time I do a new video so that you'll get a notification. You won't have to think about it, and you'll get more information like this. And of course, if you have any other questions or you want to reach out to me for any reason, all of my contact information is going to jump on the screen right now, and I would love to help however I can with the time that I have allotted, of course. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. See ya.